Hello, Virgo. Thank you so much, as always, you guys, for being here. Okay, Virgo, so looking at your third week of November, you pulled knowledge, freedom, and addicted. This is really about information being power here, and it's going to help you break these patterns of choices that you've been making that have been limiting you. So, freedom is talking about looking at how certain repetitive patterns have been limiting who you are. So if you keep making the same choices over and over again as far as work or relationships, this is a chance to learn something different that's going to break that pattern. But whatever has been holding you down, it's about what you've been choosing over and over again. That's what addicted is talking about. It very much has a devil type of energy. But the information that comes through is something that you're going to be guided to learn. So pay attention to any kind of feelings that you have when it comes to, well, I would like to learn this, or something popping up in your life that gives you knowledge that you may not have had before. Because whatever that is coming through is meant to, create that freedom for you and break you from those habits. If you've been choosing the same type of person over and over again in relationships, that's the end of that. And that may come through some knowledge that you may not have been aware of, but it's very much about being guided towards certain information. But again, it's all for the purpose of breaking repetitive addictive patterns that have been limiting who you are and what you're capable of creating. Okay, Virgo, your overall, the Eight of Cups. Ooh, yeah. Okay, so, it's easy enough to tell somebody that it's time for you to walk away, but that can be hard to do when we invest so much of ourselves into something, right? And I think that that's an important thing to point out with the Eight of Cups. But very clearly, this being the overall, it's about you needing to walk away from the things that are no longer emotionally fulfilling you. But there's this sense of not really knowing where you're going or what you're going to do after this. You just know emotionally that you're done with it. But it's needing to move on from it now. And this is going to have to do with something that's been draining you. In the past, the Three of Coins. So whatever this is, in the past, there was a, real attempt to make the situation work. That's kind of what I feel like with the Three of Coins. But it may be that, you're the only one putting in the effort and it's no longer something that you want to be a part of. Now, if this has to do with something creative, we're talking about, the skills and the talents that you're bringing forward. Because of it being the collaboration with others, it may be that their views have changed the way that, you originally wanted to bring this forward. And it may be that, I don't want to be a part of that anymore. But for some of you, straight up, it's you were the only one putting in the effort. Okay, so in the present moment, you have the past, the Six of Cups, and you may be going back and looking at how the situation could have worked differently. And it's for some of you, needing to walk away from a situation so that, these nostalgic memories of something that you were wanting to learn or work on can come back through. So you may be looking back at a job that you used to have and wanting to go after that again. And for some of you, it may be a situation, like I said, where you were the one putting in the effort, and you may be looking back at it and wondering if there's a possibility that it can still work. It depends on how you're viewing the past situation here. Okay, so future conditions, the Page of Wands. So there is going to be a new opportunity coming through for you, but it's going to require you to move away from things that you put your effort into that have been unfulfilling for you. And this may be a need to release the past. But the Page of Wands, this is the exciting communication that's coming through. But if you're going to follow a path you haven't been down before, what is it that you need to move on from? And why is it that, you keep looking back at past emotions having to do with whether or not this situation would work out? Like, and again, I kind of go back to this feeling of it's easy enough to tell somebody to walk away, but there were emotions invested in here. And you may be looking back at that. And there may be this real question of, whether or not if you put in more effort, if it would change. But I would say with the Eight of Cups being the overall, it's a no. Because there's something else happening in future conditions here. The pages always want to take advantage of that opportunity. And this is passion and optimism about something new, a different path. And with addicted being there, yeah, this is the opportunity to experience something different instead of wasting effort and emotion in something that is not fulfilling you at all. Oh boy. Okay, so your best path to follow, the Five of Cups, right? Like, it hurts, right? There's a sense of loss. And there's this, depression with this too. But the Five of Cups is your advice is, needing to realize that not all is lost in, what you are trying to create for you. And I'm not saying that not all is lost in this situation, because this very clearly has the message of walking away. Whatever is going on here, it was not emotionally fulfilling. And too much of you has been invested in this, and there's too much reflection back on it, I think, in the present moment. But this absolutely could be a past situation coming back in the present moment where there are some difficult emotions over what you feel like you have lost. Because it wasn't without effort. Like you were fully invested in this. But this is needing to recognize those emotions. Because if you continue to stay focused on that, right, you may not see something else coming through. Yeah. So in your environment, the Four of Coins or the Four of Pentacles, it's holding on. It's holding on and not wanting to let go. And whether or not the past is coming to actually revisit you, or if it's just you being nostalgic over, what you saw in the past, like how you saw things working out, this may be something that you need to let go of, because it may continue to lead to this feeling of disappointment. So this is going to be for those of you who know where you have been placing your time and effort and where you haven't been gaining anything in return. And in order for something different to come through, you're going to have to, stop looking back at how things could have been. Now, for others of you, though, this could absolutely be about needing to walk away, accepting a new opportunity, and, no longer holding on to a situation based on the effort that was put through in the past. But very clearly here, it's about hanging on to a past situation. But this doesn't feel good at all. And it's like, there's very much this heavy message of you need to see this and realize how it's making you feel. Because it's not meant for you. There's something better. Like, I feel like there's something better, right? Your hopes and your fears, again, right? Like the Eight of Pentacles, if I work really hard, will it work out the way that I wanted it to, or the way that, I used to feel about it? And, again, there's like this no. Don't continue to repeat a situation if it's just going to lead to disappointment. And again, it has to do with the things that you're holding on to, right? And wasted effort. Wasted effort. You may have to let something go here. That was something that you didn't want to let go of, right? With the Four of Coins. But, you know, being careful about where you're directing all your energy and your effort and how much work you're doing on something. Especially if you're doing it from a place of a past vision, but it's not bringing you anything. And this definitely can be about somebody, you know, disappointing you. Them not putting in the effort that's required. And you may be holding on to broken promises too. And that's only going to be for some of you, but that was one of the things that came through. But this to me is something that is coming through to break all of this. But as long as your focus is here, it may be something that you don't want to take advantage of. You know, because again, it's like whatever is going on, you need to move away from it if it is not fulfilling you, because otherwise a new path will not emerge here, right? The Emperor coming out. So control, right? And looking at your oracle cards, absolutely oppression. But I feel like this is more so about you needing to take back control over, you know, what you've been placing your effort and your emotions into. The Queen of Wands. Strength. And then you have the Magician. When we're talking about you being in control of, you know, what you are putting your effort and your emotions into and taking back control over the areas of your life where there's been this sadness or disappointment and this wasted effort. The Emperor coming through, it may be that this is the communication or the knowledge that comes through that kind of breaks all of this up. And it puts you back in a much better place here with the Queen of Wands, where you're more aware of your passionate triggers. That's kind of what I feel like here. But with the Queen of Wands, right? Like, this is being confident enough to be able to work on the things that are going to bring you the happiness that you deserve and break you out of living in the past. And whatever it is that you've been holding on to, or whatever else somebody else has been holding on to that has been preventing any kind of growth from moving forward. But it's all about you taking control and moving into this place where there is confidence, there is passion and attraction. It's like this situation, once it breaks loose and information comes through, it brings you back into the best version of yourself and being more aware of what you're putting your time and effort into, right? And then the strength, right? Finding inner strength out of this to take back control over what is going on so that you can manifest what the hell you want, instead of having to continue to do something that just isn't making you feel good. Wow, man. I like the Emperor in this situation, because it's almost like you go through enough oppression because of this that it breaks you loose and the best parts of you come out and you take control of the situation. But finding strength to deal with what you've been holding on to. But it's all about you wanting to create a different situation. But I think, like I said, knowledge and communication is what's going to be coming through that I think kind of changes your view on what you've been wasting yourself on. Like, I can't get past that. Like, Virgo, don't do this, right? Don't do this to yourself. Don't waste the best parts of you on people and situations that can't appreciate it. That's what I feel like. Acceptance. Stuck. And freedom. I'm telling you. I'm telling you. Acceptance of what the situation is going to help you become unstuck. Like, it sounds so counterintuitive, but it's actually the way that it works. When we accept what is, then we release the resistance that may have been blocking you and keeping you from this sense of freedom. Whatever this situation is, it's been limiting you. And I love that freedom is showing up like this, because I feel like right? Like, you may not be really sure where this situation is going to go. You just know that you need to be done with this and move on. And it may be difficult because of, past, right? Past emotions that we're holding on to. But breaking out from that, the end of a tough cycle approaches. Full moon in Capricorn. I'm trying to think when the next full moon in Capricorn is going to be. But the ending of a tough cycle is absolutely what you need to see, right? And then take time to breathe out. And I've seen this for another sign too. As this is coming to its end and a new door is opening for you, be aware of what triggers your passion. And make sure that whatever paths you're following, you're doing so from a place of being in control, not being oppressed, and optimism. Optimism about the ability that you have to manifest the things that you want. Acceptance of the situation is going to break it loose where you're not feeling stuck anymore. And immediately after that, this freedom comes through. But don't react to anything. Just give yourself a minute to kind of breathe as the cycle is coming to a close. And be careful about the emotions that you're hanging on to about the past. Especially when it comes to the effort that you may have been putting through and not getting back in return.